How's it going there, guys? It's Mr. Zen over here bringing you guys a brand new Tower of God chapter discussion. And for today's segment, guys, we're going to be talking about is chapter 350, season 2, episode 270, folks. Oh man, we're almost nearing there, the 300s area, guys. Yes. But, the things that I really want to talk to the main bulk of this specific chapter, folks, is the big breeders, folks. They heavily focused on the big breeders in this specific chapter. And the thing about them is the fact that we all know they're at equally leveled as high rankers themselves, but the thing that makes me very interested is the fact that we all know that the big breeders were definitely part of Zahard's empire, or previously, or you could say Zahard's own personal bodyguards of him that were back in the day of himself, which is pretty interesting itself because what questions me on what the big breeder that actually came out at the end of the chapter is the fact that is that Pedro, folks? Was that supposed to be Pedro? Because I'm personally kind of interested in the fact that wait a minute. If that's supposed to be Pedro in the past, or at least a data, or maybe if not a data, maybe if it is Pedro, or maybe like a Pedro sibling, of course. But the things that what makes me interesting is the fact that if it is Pedro, that is going to be an epic battle because we finally get to see something that Pedro is actually able to do. Because remember, guys, back in the Hell Train, back when Yuri Zahad was actually fighting Pedro, we never got really to see much of Pedro's abilities. If I remember correctly, in the Tower of God wiki, it does state that Pedro has ocular powers. So it goes on to say that that'd be pretty interesting if we actually get to see Bomb have an enemy that he has to fight with ocular powers itself. As most of the time we've been mostly seeing Bomb face off against people with actual strong Shinzo abilities, swordsmen, princesses, administrators. So now we're gonna see something that's involving Bond's vision. That's a very interesting concept in itself as well, because we really haven't been able to see any of these characters that are able to create strong illusions. So to my honest opinion, to have Pedro back inside this chapter is a very prominent actual move by SIU himself. And I personally would like to actually see more of how Pedro acted in the past, as we kind of see him, when he was, he was just kind of chopped off to the side by Yuri. We didn't really get that much of the past. But we do know is the fact that in the present time, Pedro was involved with Fug, which makes me very interested in the fact that it might not also be Pedro at the same time, but I am hoping that it is Pedro. Because Pedro was a very cool character, in my honest opinion. And for Pete's sakes, I mean, come on, Karaka even lent Pedro this kind of Dementor looking thing that was that. It was spewed acid. It was back in the old days, like a strong demon that a lot of these high rankers used to face off against. Like I said, it's a very interesting concept to have Pedro back in action. And like I said, I personally would love to see more of these ocular abilities involved in the world that SIU is actually trying to incorporate here. Now, the thing is about the fact that the reason I'm saying that it is Pedro is because, come on, it's the mustache. Pedro had the same mustache back on the Hell Train, so why cannot this also be Pedro? If it is somebody else, okay, I wouldn't get mad. I'd be like, oh man, I messed up. But the thing is that I'm hoping that it is Pedro. I just wanted to get that off my chest now, folks. But that's not also what the chapter consisted of. The chapter consists of how these actual big breeders themselves actually are able to influence the actual not the powers, but the level of difficulty inside the actual floor itself. In the hidden floor, the big breeders are able to change everything, every small aspect, and their actual job is to really keep these people from actually reaching Zahard himself, or at least seeing Zahard, or in general just keeping away from Zahard. And the thing about these big breeders at the same time that I'm kind of very interested is the fact that if they're really that you could say important to the point that oh, I don't want them to see Zahard, why wouldn't they just kind of just take them out the hidden floor themselves? Just go down to themselves instead of sending these little nukes, little mini soldiers, and just go no way, you can't see this. Let me just take you guys off. Memory's gone. Boom. That's it. End of story. Just my opinion. But like I said, I'm guessing SIU wants to create that suspenseful moments inside the actual arc itself. But what do I know? But the thing is, I did like about the fact is that we did get to see finally Rock actually finally fight again. But again, he's been always shunned. I always get mad at the fact that they always have to have Rack every single time put down. I mean, come on. Rack needs his own time to shine. I mean, personally, Kun is always getting his own time to shine, but personally, it's like Rack just needs more. He needs more screen time. I mean, the last time I really seen Rack actually have a very important fight was back when they were in the name hunt station, but he still lost at the end of the day. And it's just like, man, Rack needs some winning points. You know, we need Rack to actually go out there and do something. You know, I mean, I'm hoping in this actual arc they actually involve Rack with a little bit more actual part of the story plot itself. I mean, Rack does. He's a very important character in Bomb's world, and I'm hoping they actually make him at least more not stronger, but more at least more important. You could say at least make him more important. That's all I'm hoping for. But like I said, moving on though, we gotta talk about is the giant octopus itself. That it was very interesting that it made Kun's actual involvement with this quest actually reach them much more closer to reaching the end goal of going to the, I believe it was the good seed, the good and evil seed of where the containment place was. And it's very interesting because in my honest opinion, I thought they were going to spend like 10 more chapters involving themselves with quest within quest within quest. But this is a SIU's way of saying, you know what? So you guys think it's going to be a long chapter or long arc? Nope, let me just speed up the process and face off against one of these strong opponents. Now, in fact, now that the big breeders are actually taken out, it makes me wonder too, are they actually all going to get separated once again because of the fact that the big breeders are finally came out, or at least one of the big breeders? So it goes along to say like, holy cow, you know, are we going to witness that again? Or actually say once again, a lot of separation involvement? Because, I mean, Bomb right now, personally, is definitely fending off against his own self, his own data, and, like, you could say the Big Breeder's actual little mini soldier, so it's like definitely everything's going in chaos. It's all mayhem right now. It's total mayhem, and I want to know, too, if Bomb is actually going to talk to one of the Big Breeders themselves. And if the Big Breeders are part of Zahar's actual empire, or at least if they are the present tense persons, man, I'm like stuttering, but if they're the present people that are in the timeline itself and not data people, then wouldn't they actually want to go after Jovial Grace or at least the sun? You know, it's like, hello. That's what I'm telling you. Like, this hidden floor is kind of interesting to see if there's anybody that's really important. And it goes back to being where Rachel is at as well. That why hasn't Rachel woken up yet, or is she going to be kept being asleep or at least unconscious by the end of the arc? Because, I mean, Bomb himself is actually definitely getting himself in some dire situations right there. Very interesting how this chapter actually went about. And once again, we do see Hawkney in a very more comical sense. We never really got to see him in this kind of sense, more or less in the actual previous arc, in you could say in the Floor of Death arc. You could say that he was more important because of his eyes that are able to follow everywhere. In this specific arc, it seems like he just he was useless technically. Technically, he's kind of useless now. Like, it's so funny because every time that you get this new character involved in a brand new arc, like in the previous arc, they're like so cool. They're so important. They're very relevant to the story. Now that they're not relevant to the story anymore, it's just like they just seem very unwithered and so weak-willed. It's like, what the heck, you know? Come on, these characters they got to get more time. I mean, Sachi Faker, for Pete's sake, he's lasting pretty good long while. That's what I like about Sachi Faker's actual character development. Is the fact that even though he has no importance to the story whatsoever, he is still keeping his actual track involvement in there. I'm hoping that with Sachi Faker, we actually do get a Sachi Faker versus Bomb kind of fight, maybe in this, or Sachi Faker versus Kun. That'd be pretty interesting to see, because, you know, Sachi Faker seems like they could use him, because, I mean, for Pete's sakes, remember, they could use their friends against each other with the Big Breeders themselves. It'd be very interesting to see that kind of aspect, or at least that little kind of plot convenience for SIU. I don't know. Maybe it could be or not. Like I said. But anywho, last topic I do want to mention is the fact that, you know, chapter we do get to see Han Won-soon actually uses like these bombs that he actually maneuvered or placed in the actual place. And the thing about it is the fact that, like, anyway, you know, like, if he's that 10 steps ahead, oh man, so does he know anything else? Like, is he aware that the Big Breeders are finally coming down, or are they going to have to die again? Because remember, they were explaining in the last couple chapters that, you know, they've done this over and over and over again, that they died so many times that after a while, it's like they kind of use that to their advantage. So Han Won-soon, I mean, whatever, coffee addict. I cannot pronounce it for some strange reason, but the person is, will he actually, will he die again once again in this specific arc, or at least to actually help Bomb and actually advance into the floors itself, because of the fact that, like, there's just so much chaos and the big readers that are coming out. So it goes along to say, like I said, Bomb is definitely going to need some help in this specific chapter because the big readers are coming down. But it's very interesting to see how Pedro, or at least the Pedro lookalike, is going to be coming out. Can't wait to see how that's going to go about. But let me know down in the comments below, guys, as to what are you guys' thoughts on the big breeders themselves. Pedro as a character, I can't wait to see what more this guy has to offer. And let me know down also in the comments as well as to what are you guys' thoughts on Khun's actual involvement in the story in this specific arc too. Because with Khun, it just seems like they're trying to separate Bomb and Khun every single time. So I wonder how they're gonna connect once again, or they're gonna stay separate. Let me know down in the comments for that. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to give a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Tower of God chapter discussions. And as always, until next time, peace.